Level A2, Rumpelstiltskin. Rumpelstiltskin, Part 1. Once upon a time, in a small village near a quiet river, there lived a poor miller and his beautiful daughter. The miller worked hard every day, but he did not earn much money. He was a friendly man, but he had one big problem. He liked to talk too much. He often said things that were not true, just to sound important. His daughter was kind, gentle, and honest, but she could not stop her father from telling foolish stories. One day, the miller went to the king's castle to sell flour. The castle was large and full of important people. The miller wanted to impress them. While he was talking to the king, he suddenly said, "Your Majesty, my daughter is so clever that she can spin straw into gold." The king's eyes widened. He was a greedy man who loved gold more than anything. "Straw into gold?" he said. "Is this really true?" The miller felt afraid, but he did not want to admit he had lied. So he nodded and said, "Yes, Your Majesty, she is very talented." "Then bring her to my castle tomorrow," the king said. "I want to see this magic with my own eyes." The miller went home feeling worried. He knew his daughter could not spin straw into gold, but it was too late to tell the truth. The next day, the miller's daughter arrived at the castle. She was nervous and confused. The king took her to a small room filled with straw. In the middle of the room stood a spinning wheel. The king said, "If you can spin all this straw into gold by morning, you may live. If you cannot, something bad will happen." Then he locked the door and left her alone. The girl sat down and began to cry. She had no idea what to do. She touched the straw, hoping it would magically turn into gold. But nothing happened. She felt hopeless. Suddenly, a strange little man appeared in the room. It was very small, with bright eyes, a long nose, and a funny hat. He looked unusual, but not dangerous. "Why are you crying?" he asked in a high, squeaky voice. The girl wiped her tears and said, "The king wants me to spin this straw into gold, but I don't know how. I will die if I fail." The little man smiled. "I can help you," he said. "But what will you give me in return?" The girl thought for a moment. She did not have much. "I can give you my necklace," she said. The little man nodded happily. He took the necklace, sat at the spinning wheel, and began to work. The wheel turned quickly, and the straw changed into shining gold thread. The girl watched in amazement. By morning, every piece of straw had become gold. When the king opened the door, he was shocked and delighted. But he was also greedy. He wanted more gold. He took the girl to a bigger room filled with even more straw. "Spin all of this into gold by morning," he said. "If you succeed, you will live." Then he locked the door again. The girl cried once more. She knew the little man would come, but she feared what he might ask for next. As she expected, the little man appeared. "What will you give me this time?" he asked. "I can give you my ring," she said. He took the ring and spun all the straw into gold again. The king was thrilled, but he still wanted more. He took her to the biggest room yet, filled from floor to ceiling with straw. "If you spin all of this into gold, I will marry you," he said. "But if you fail, you will not live." Then he locked the door. The girl cried harder than ever. She had nothing left to give. And that is where the first half of the story ends. If you like this story, please click like. It helps me a lot. And if you want more easy English stories, you can subscribe. Thank you for learning with me. Rumpelstiltskin, Part 2. The girl sat alone in the biggest room she had ever seen. Straw was piled everywhere. on the floor, against the walls, even around the spinning wheel. She felt completely hopeless. She had nothing left to give the strange little man, and she knew she could not spin the straw into gold by herself. She covered her face with her hands and cried harder than ever before. As she cried, the door suddenly opened, and the little man appeared again. His bright eyes shone in the dim light, and he smiled as if he already knew why she was upset. "Well," he said softly, "what will you give me this time if I help you?" The girl shook her head. "I have nothing left," she whispered. "No necklace, no ring, nothing." The little man walked around the room slowly, touching the straw with his long fingers. Then he stopped and looked at her. "You may have nothing now," he said, "but one day you will have something very precious. Promise me your first child after you become queen, and I will spin all this straw into gold." The girl gasped. She did not want to make such a promise, but she also knew that if she refused, she would die. She felt trapped. After a long moment, she nodded sadly. "I promise," she said. The little man clapped his hands happily. Then he sat at the spinning wheel and began to work. The wheel turned faster and faster, and the straw changed into shining gold thread. The girl watched in silence, feeling both relieved and afraid. By morning, every piece of straw had become gold. When the king opened the door, he was amazed. He could not believe his eyes. The room was full of gold. He was so pleased that he decided to keep his promise. He married the miller's daughter, and soon she became queen. For a while, the queen lived happily. She wore beautiful dresses, slept in a soft bed, and walked through the castle gardens every day. She almost forgot about the strange little man and the promise she had made. A year later, the queen had a baby boy. He was healthy, sweet, and perfect. The queen loved him more than anything in the world. She held him close and sang to him every night. She felt safe and happy. But one evening, as she sat in her room with the baby in her arms, the door opened quietly. The strange little man stepped inside. His eyes were bright and his smile was sharp. "I have come for what you promised me," he said. "Give me the child." The queen cried out in fear. "No, please no. I will give you anything else. Gold, jewels, land, anything. Just let me keep my baby." The little man shook his head. "I want only what you promised." The queen fell to her knees and begged him. She cried so much that even the little man began to think. After a moment he said, "Very well, I will give you 3 days. If you can guess my name before the 3rd night, you may keep your child." The queen agreed quickly. She sent messengers across the kingdom to collect every strange name they could find. That night, when the little man returned, she guessed many names. "Is your name Nicholas, Peter, Bartholomew, Jasper, Thorn, Flint?" "No, no, no," the little man laughed. "None of those are my name." The second night she tried even more names. Old names, new names, long names, short names. But the little man shook his head each time. On the 3rd day, one messenger returned late in the evening. He said, "Your Majesty, I saw a little man dancing around a fire in the forest. He sang a strange song. Tonight the queen will never win, for my name is Rumpelstiltskin." The queen felt a wave of relief. That night, when the little man came, she smiled calmly. "Is your name Rumpelstiltskin?" The little man screamed with anger. He stamped his foot so hard that the floor cracked beneath him. Then he disappeared into the ground and was never seen again. The queen hugged her baby tightly, grateful and safe at last. If you like this story, please click like. It helps me a lot. And if you want more easy English stories, you can subscribe. Thank you for learning with me.